Ladies and gentlemen, hey, hi, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. Obviously, with the health update, with the TTK update here in Warzone Season 4, weapons all feel a little bit worse because they do require those extra shots to kill. That's not to say that in the grand comparison now, there's not a handful of weapons that really stand out as extremely dominant. And today, we are breaking down 5 of the most quote-unquote overpowered weapons that we've currently got this season, starting first with maybe a bit of an interesting choice. The FTAC Siege, but not just any FTAC Siege, the Akimbo FTAC Siege. This was just added in with the Season 4 update, the ability to unlock Akimbo, and well, if you are within 10 meters or so, this is insane because it's basically 2 fully automatic pistols spraying and praying. If you're landing shots, which this build is meant to help you do, it's gonna be tough to outgun this close range because 2 guns frying, it's pretty crazy. Also hilarious to use as well. But obviously, as far as this setup goes, you have to run the Akimbo option for your rear grip, so that's pretty straightforward. Now, I'm using the 50 round drum. That's 100 rounds before you gotta reload. In theory, you could run 72. I feel like that might be a little bit overkill. Also, it's a little bit slower for what it's worth, so I feel like 50 is sufficient. If you wanted to go crazy, I'm not gonna say no, right? I also use overpressured ammo here. You don't really need many other attachments. Obviously, we're using a barrel and a laser. A muzzle is all right, but won't be the most effective since you're just hip firing. Obviously, you don't need an optic either, so having that induced flinch when you're landing shots is pretty solid. That said, frangible could also be a really good choice as well to delay that regen some too, so either or there would work well. And of course, the tunes here don't really matter too much because again, it is Akimbo. Now, I am using the 1 milliwatt pistol laser. This is going to help out with that hip fire control, the hip fire accuracy, and the sprint to fire. This is all a clutch for using an Akimbo setup, so obviously that's a no-brainer choice there. Then lastly, I go for the XV 9mm barrel, which is just straight up for better movement speed. The ADS speed there is pretty much irrelevant, but you'll be able to move a little bit faster with that one. And quite frankly, this setup is hilarious, and like I said, up close, if you're within 10 meters or like hip fire area, this is an unstoppable setup. Now, next up is a weapon that you should be pretty familiar with by now because we've been talking about it a decent amount lately. It is the SO14. This thing is very spicy in this current meta. Whether you are using it as semi-auto or full auto, it's really the most overpowered in semi-auto, but it also has that higher skill gap of needing to track and trace players while spraying and praying and having a good trigger finger over longer ranges, right? But if you land your shots with this thing in any mode, it's just going to fry. That's just how it is. This thing is very, very powerful. Setup is going to be similar to what we just talked about the other day when we broke this weapon down. Aim out V4, use whatever optic you are the most comfortable with here. Tune for that furthest eye position, faster ADS. 50 round drum, you don't have to worry about reloading regardless of semi-auto or fully auto. FTAC gripper under barrel will help out with that stabilization, make things a little bit more smooth and easy to control over longer ranges, tuning for better stability and stabilization. SAC and tread 40 again to help out with that control, especially if you're in full auto. This is a very clutch attachment to have, and it helps out some in semi-auto as well. Then lastly, the Boremaster barrel, better velocity, better range, better control, that 3-in-1 combo that works so good for medium to long range weapons. Definitely helps out here on this setup. Just makes it even more efficient, even more lethal in the mid to long range, so you can just dominate lobbies with this thing. It's like I said, just spicy. I think that's the best way to put it. Another choice that I would say is relatively straightforward and kind of obvious when breaking down overpowered or super dominant weapons, the ISO 45 right now. This thing up close is a beast. It's outgunning other SMGs. It can outgun shotguns. Close range, this is the go-to choice right now. It's got the speed, it's got the damage, it's relatively easy to use as well. This setup I've been running since day one and I've kind of stuck with it. That said, there are a bunch of different ISO 45 setups that work well, so you don't have to copy this one for one. If there's some things you want to tweak there, maybe you want to use an optic instead of iron sights, maybe you'd prefer a more recoil based stock or something, or you want to use a barrel, you could flip-flop things, and regardless, it's the ISO 45 at its core, it's going to fry. But I go for the 45 round drum. Pretty much everyone should be running that. The sheer rear grip for the better ADS and sprint to fire tunes to match. The cheetah stock for all the mobility benefits in the world here. The strafe speed is super noticeable. The sprint speed is nice. Better ADS speed, tuning for even better mobility. 7 milliwatt laser for a snappier ADS and a better sprint to fire as well. Then the lockshot KT85 will help out the most with horizontal bounce, give give you some recoil control vertically as well. Just makes the gun easier to use if you're in the mid-range or something. Just makes it a little bit more consistent and reliable, and it's a nice balance to everything else focusing so much on mobility. By the way, as we are breaking down all the setups here today, if you guys are new to the channel, I'm your one-stop shop for all things going on in COD. News, updates, leaks, loadouts, you name it, it's all going to be right here. So feel free to hit that sub button, turn on those post notifications, and if you guys enjoy the video, if you find it helpful at all, you find some setups you enjoy using, let me know by dropping a like on it as well. Would be seriously appreciated. Hey everyone, very exciting announcement today. Just received a special package from my friends over at Gamer Advantage. We're gonna go ahead and open this up because there are some very, very cool things inside. Bit of a familiar logo on our little packaging here. I wonder what could be in there. Perhaps it is the custom engraved with the tiger claw scratches WhosImmortal times Gamer Advantage frames. But the frames and the sleeve are not the only thing you get in the WhosImmortal Gamer Advantage package. You also get your own WhosImmortal cleaning cloth, which has the Iron Tiger logo, and I gotta say, it looks absolutely phenomenal. I love it. It's super clean, and technically this is like the first ever official piece of merch that has the Iron Tiger logo on it. You also get the logo as a sticker as well in case you want to throw this anywhere, and of course you get your standard glasses carrying case. And the awesome thing about these frames, you get the sunglasses clip as well. So if you're gaming, looking at screens for long periods of time, you got the standard version on, you're heading out and about just in time for the summer, you got the sunglasses clip. So if you guys want to pick up your very own WhosImmortal Gamer Advantage package, you can actually get the full-on glasses bundle that includes everything that you just saw here, or you can go straight up for the accessory kit, and you can use code Immortal on anything there. If you're going for the glasses bundle or the accessory kit, code Immortal will get you a nice little discount at checkout. Now, kind of an underrated setup in my opinion is the TAQ-V. Obviously with this health update, weapons like the TAQ-56, which previously were very popular, turn into very mediocre rifles. But then the heavier version of the TAQ-56 in the TAQ-V here comes into play, and it's got a very, very competitive TTK. It's got some recoil that you just have to get used to, but I don't think it's like anything too crazy. You know, it's still relatively straightforward. You just learn the pattern, you're going to be good to go, and then you land your shots with this thing. It's going to be tough to outgun it in the mid to long range. It does require that higher skill gap, but higher risk, higher reward in this sense. As far as the setup goes, AMOP V4 yet again. As always, use whatever optic you are the most comfortable using. I go for the combat rear grip, just straight up better control. I also tune for the better stability and steadiness. 50 round drum, pretty self-explanatory there. Ripper underbarrel yet again for that better stability, same tunes as always there. Then I go for the Talon suppressor. This will help out with the velocity, the range, which as is already solid for a mid to long range based weapon. But then it does give you a little bit of added control as well, which really is what you want to focus on attacking the most here to make this weapon as easy to use as possible. Unfortunately, like the barrel options here kind of suck, no added control in this case, so not really viable options there. At least in my opinion, this is going to be the go-to, and for what it is, it works really, really well. You learn this gun, you're good to go. Then lastly here, I've got the RAPP LMG. This thing, again, a little bit higher risk, higher reward. It's got a skill gap in the form of recoil once again. It's not the easiest pattern in the world, especially over range. You're going to notice it more, but if you can learn to use this weapon effectively, it is so, so good. Its mid-range TTK is anything but mid, right? Even its close range TTK, if you got your sights up in a fight, it's going to shred. And then over long range, if you can just hit your shots, you're going to be set. So spend some time in the firing range, figure out how to really use this weapon to its advantage, and you're going to be frying, decimating absolutely everyone. Once more, we got the AMOP V4. Rhyming. Again, change the optic out if you like something a little bit more. I go for the TCG-10 rear grip, again, just straight up better recoil control, tunes for stability and steadiness. I go for the 100 round mag here just because with the fire rate of this thing, you don't want to be reloading too often, and with the default mag, you reload a little bit more. So it's going to be slow, it's going to be rough regardless because this is an LMG. This just makes it so you have to reload less frequently, which I'm just a big fan of with a weapon like this. Ripper 56 yet again, same deal as always with those tunes. Then I do go for the SAC and Tread 40 just for the added control once more. Really want to minimize this thing's recoil pattern and make it as consistent and as easy as possible. That way, whether you're fighting at 10 meters, 50 meters, 100 meters, you can be accurate with this thing because as long as you are going to dominate, just like all the weapons that we mentioned here today, because they are all extremely lethal in the right hands. And that being said, that is going to wrap things up for this one. If you enjoyed the video, let me know by dropping a like on it, and if you're new here, feel free to hit that subscribe button, turn on those post notifications, and join us on the road to 1 million subscribers. But once again, thank you so much for tuning in, and until next time, take it easy, have an awesome rest of your day, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace out.